Welcome everyone. Really beautiful afternoon, and we're going to talk to you about things that happen in our life that are impacting our lives. And we're talking today about technology for the built world. In the built world, it's about, 44% of the greenhouse gas emissions. That's what we emit in construction and in real estate. So just to give you an example, mobility is only 16% of the pollution. It's buildings that cause the pollution, 44%. And let me start by a personal one, that is myself, my life. Why am I doing this? I'm a mountaineer since many, many years. I've scaled all the technically most difficult mountains in the Alps, and I'm still doing it. I was there last week. And it's there that I saw the negative impact of everything that we do. And I've seen the mountains changing in the last 30, 40 years, and it was really, for me, devastating, like it is now, to see what our negative impact is on the planet. So I started getting a really big interest in everything that's technology that makes our lives on our planet better. And one of the things I did is, well, I founded a few companies. I'm still managing them, but also I founded what is called the European PropTech Association. It's the big association, the only one, the largest one in Europe, that has all the 3,500 startups and scale-ups and innovators in it that are changing our construction world and our built world. And when we say PropTech, ComTech is construction tech and technology for real estate. And it encompasses all the asset classes, and it works with all those different people in the value chain of real estate. And we generally cover it in a certain number of segments where we talk about finance, we talk about design and build, market and operate, and so on. And so PropTech is really a technology that is evolving according to the Schumpeter principle, where you say that you need to destroy the old equilibria to make possible higher standards of living. So in real estate, as you all know, is like a very boring industry. We only look like, we don't look at tomorrow, we look at 40 years ahead of us. So we're a bit lazy in real estate. We don't like to change in real estate, because if you change, it means maybe the financial returns are not what we would expect you to do. So as you have seen, we have a lot of problems in real estate. The first that you see a negative impact on your life is affordable housing, of course, because it's just become unaffordable to buy a house, especially for young people. So what we have is like a perfect storm hitting real estate, and it's hitting all of us because real estate in your portfolio or in your expenses of every month is like the most important of expenses that you have. So there's a lot of things happening at the same time, and it's an undisrupted sector. When you look at all the big companies, the big 500 companies over the last 20 or 25 years, all of them have been disrupted. All of them. But in real estate, it's like 85% of the companies of 20 years ago are exactly the same, and they had no evolution. There was almost no innovation in it. So we got forces, macroeconomic trends that are impacting the whole real estate and construction world, and at the same time, you have also the technologies that are impacting real estate. And we can think about anything that you can imagine about what is making your house smarter, for example, or the new materials that we are using right now, where we try to get to net zero materials. And of course, the third force hitting real estate, and your wallet, by the way, is of course all the regulations of the European Commission. And these regulations, I will talk about it later today at the end of the day, but we have a lot of regulations in sustainability. We have the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, we have the ESG criteria, all of these things that will influence the value of your house. So what happened to real estate in the last, let's say, 5-6 years? So first of all, I always make the comparison with the phones. You know why? Because at a certain point when you got the iPhone, people were ready to pay a lot of money for that iPhone. And why was it? It was because that iPhone, it felt better, and it looked better, and it was built for the end user and not for the maker of the phone, right? And there's a brand new functionalities that were added, and also cater to the need to be ever connected. So we went from, okay, I want to sell you a house, to I want to provide you a livable and lovable environment to work in and to live in. And then, of course, a lot of people were thinking at the big companies, we should get into that business. So you saw Amazon, Microsoft, Google investing heavily in everything that has to do with the technologies for your home. I'm just giving a few examples now, but you will see 7 brilliant startups pitching right after I'm done annoying you with my speech. So, Drupal, it's a Swiss company. They're enabling water intelligence, saves you like more than 50% on your bills. These people have raised like I think 30 million not so long ago. We got Optimal, it's a German company, German Swiss company, and they are helping everyone who is in the works of renovating your house and do it in the best net zero way. And it's not just that, we have also the construction companies like Lecolabs who built the first carbon negative superstructure. So it means that they are making carbon negative panels, right? So we are talking net zero. If you use that to build your new house, you have net zero. I mean, you have zero negative impact on the environment. And of course, for your property tax and for everything else in taxes, well, you pay less, of course. What about LumoView? It's a device that if you put it in the building here, just in front of us, it scans in 10 seconds, it scans the building and it tells you immediately what materials have been used to build this building. So it gives you also the score of the building in terms of how polluting is this building. Excellent technologies. I love this one, Solitaire Power. It's a device that you put on top of the building and it's taking the CO2 out of the building, right? You're in an office building, for example, in a hospital. It takes out the CO2 and it stores the CO2. And specialized companies are then removing the CO2. So in fact, they are what they say, they convert buildings into CO2 capturing buildings. So what is helping all our technology, and we can be very, very proud of it, of our property, real estate technology, construction technology, because for once in the world, we have the best ecosystem. We have the most startups in property and construction technology. We are better than the United States, we are better than China. And there's only one reason for it. That's Ursula von der Leyen and the European Green Deal. Because legislation is moving us to do that. And just to give you a stupid story, in May 2023, there was a wide ban on the throwing away the waste of textile by the European Commission. And 2 months later, we have a startup that invented a new type of concrete with 30% real concrete and 70% textile waste. Can you imagine? You make bricks out of this in 2 years or 3 years, I don't know. It's incredible. And you know what our problem is? You see the picture? It's the Akatama Desert in South America. That's where all our clothes are dumped. So, technologies. Let's talk technologies. Technologies is like blockchain, it's VR, and that's what we are using to do 2 things, in fact. We are using it, first of all, for a better user experience, and that's what I was talking about with the 2 phones, and secondly, for efficiency, of course. Now, and what about AI? Because everyone is talking about AI at the moment. Well, yes, we're integrating AI. We invested, I think, about 12 billion US dollars we invested worldwide into AI for PropTech or construction tech solutions. So where are these investments going? And that is important for the general public also. So they're going, first of all, into, well, energy. So it's about decarbonization. That's why you are paying a lot for houses that are really polluting or have a low energy score. The second thing where everyone invests is batteries. Batteries, of course batteries. How do you mean batteries? Yes, batteries. We got a Belgian company, it's called Octave. And Octave, they have designed a technology where they take back the cars of the Mercedes, Audi, and so on, and they take back the batteries of it. They put them in huge containers, like 200, 300 of those batteries, and then put their technology on it. They link it to the solar panels on the roof, and you get a gigantic battery in the cave of your building. So you store that energy with, well, batteries of used cars. So you don't reuse it, but you give a second lifespan to the same battery, instead of sending it to India, where children of 14 years old are dismantling our batteries. So we work with a huge network of big real estate corporates all over Europe, and I can say in the world. We work also with Saudi Arabia, Middle East, South Africa, and with associations that are helping us doing that. Now, what I would like to point out to you, because we're talking startups today, in the last, let's say, 14 years, there's about 47 billion that we invested in Europe in technologies for your buildings. Enfin, in technologies for your buildings, and of course, not only in houses, but also in industry or offices. And we have about 3,500 of the startups, and if you look at the picture on the left side, you see there that I placed them in terms of maturity. And the most important thing is like I would say the yellow one, but it's dark yellow. You see that about 50% is early stage. So PropTech and construction tech is really this sector for the next 10 years to be investing in startups. Why? They're all early stage. If you wait another 10 years, we will be at the same maturity as the fintech market. But the fintech market is, of course, much more mature than we are. Now, when you look at the funding sources, everyone is talking a lot about VCs, and we have VCs here today, venture capitalists. Well, in our world, we have only 15% of the capital that is coming exclusively from venture capitalists. And that's a big difference with other sectors. So we got a lot of money that is invested also by corporates, by people who own like 1,000 buildings or 10,000 buildings. So they're investing in it. And what we do then, to help all of them, we organize competitions, like you see them here. This is Expo Real, 45,000 people in 3 days, all about innovation. Now, if I show you this is the top 50 of last year, right? It doesn't tell you anything because you only see names. If I do the same thing like this, you see all of those startups in a building, and you see what they are bringing as added value to the building. So a building nowadays is not anymore bricks, it's technology that is helping the bricks to get added value. So if you look at what's happening now in real estate, and especially regards to technology, you see that, and this is a European study from the Commission, you see that we have a 20% decrease in value of buildings who are not really green buildings. And on the other hand, we have plus 25% in valuation of buildings who are top green buildings. So the value of your building is going to go down if you don't invest in the good renovation or a higher degree of technicalities in it. So we are at a pivotal moment to do the best thing at this moment for our built world, and the exponential growth that we are doing right now is like enormous. We are adding 18 billion square meters by 2060, right? It's incredible, and the renovation wave is like 20 million building units that is going to be renovated. So the impact is enormous. Do you know that the buildings that will be in Europe in 2050, 80% of those buildings are already now built. So our problem is not the new buildings, our problem is the existing buildings. So what does it mean? It means that a sector that is doing a 44% greenhouse gas emissions, this sector needs to have investments in technology. How much? It's there. We need worldwide $8 trillion to invest in technologies for the built world. And if we don't do it, well, we're going to get in trouble. We're anyway in trouble, you might say. What are we doing good in Europe? What are we doing bad in Europe? Look at the right side of my slide. The renovation wave is costing us more than 3 trillion by 2030. Green renovation. Okay, we're not there yet. But look at the second one, corner, right? It requires from Europe 400 billion of investments in new buildings, green, sustainable buildings. And you know what? We are already above the target. So we are really good in Europe, excellent, the best of the world, in new buildings filled with new materials and new technologies. But what are we doing bad? This is a slide that I just love, and everyone should take a picture of it, because you see there in blue what is the industry and what is their part of the greenhouse gas emissions. Look at the left. At the left it says transport, mobility. It's responsible for 16% of the greenhouse gas emissions. 16%. I would say only 16%. But look at how much money is going into technology for that mobility. Well, 61% of our budget. What does it mean? It means we still keep pumping money into new mobility solutions and whatever, where they have already enough money. And then you go to the right side of my slide, and there you will see that the buildings alone, is 3%. 3% of greenhouse gas emissions. Sorry, is 21 of greenhouse gas emissions. 21%. And we are only in Europe investing 3% of our budget in innovation for the built world. So we're doing it all the wrong way in Europe. Completely the wrong way. So, a few examples of excellent and exceptional programs that we have. The NASA doesn't have it. We have it in Europe. We have a program with the European Space Agency where the best of the startups in Europe can integrate technologies of the European Space Agency. That's what I was talking about, that you can now, from a satellite point of view, you can focus on a building and you can tell how many energy is leaking from there, or for the insurance part that I was explaining. But we also have, for example, the robotics program, where the best of the construction companies, they can integrate technologies from the European Space Agency into their technology. So space is helping Earth in business solutions to move further. I don't have to tell you that we have enormous amount of programs, financial programs that are running. I will show you them here. And I'm going to quickly jump to something else that I need to tell you, and that is the EU taxonomy. No, I have time. Don't worry. It's my session. Don't worry. Don't stress me. That's the EU taxonomy. And I think that you all know the EU taxonomy. It's a basis for qualification of how good you are at this moment in sustainability in your building. And we're moving towards an impact-driven EU taxonomy. The taxonomy, it came out like years ago, I think, 6 years, 7 years ago. So how are we doing with the taxonomy? Because we should all be aligned, our European companies, with taxonomy. Well, 60% of the companies in Europe have zero alignment with sustainability and all the rules around sustainability. It's just crazy. 60% of companies say, fuck off, we don't care. But it's your future, huh? I have a daughter of 22. It's her future that these companies are talking about. And I'm not a climate activist. I'm more like a climate actionist. Eye-opener for all of you. Take a picture of this one. Do it. Look at the left side. Left side shows you a building with trees, and you see it everywhere now, all the brochures of the project developers. A building with trees upon it. It's just rubbish. It's greenwashing. It's greenwashing because just to put one tree on a building, you need to cut down 250 other trees. Pure greenwashing. Don't buy a building from someone who puts this in his brochure. No, it's hard what I'm telling, but it's the truth. So, look in the middle of this picture. When we asked 3,000 people, what do you think a sustainable building is? Well, half of them almost said, if there's plants on the facade, then it must be a sustainable building. In other words, they believe what they see in the brochures. Of course, it's not the case. It's not true. It's not because you put some plants on a facade that you have a sustainable building. Look at the right side. There you see what a sustainable building is. All right, good. Now, before we go to the startups, last thing, everything that I've been just saying about laws and regulations and standards is ESG, we call that, right? Environmental standards and social standards, governance standards. It's rubbish, okay? And I will be talking about it this afternoon or at the end of the day. There's only one thing that counts. Not the rules, not the reporting things. Impact. Impact. How can we have a measurable social and environmental impact on our people and planet? If you want to link with me and follow me on LinkedIn, you can take a picture of this one. And now I want to present you 7 great startups. They have each 6 minutes only to present. And I will now ask on the stage Sonja Pebble. You got one too? Perfect.
Hi, everyone. Oh, great, you can hear me.
Click one more. This is your presentation.
Perfect. I'm Sonia, and I'm here to talk about how Pebble is building for tomorrow. So, in order to tell you what Pebble does, I have to start with a few facts. 3/4 of the world's infrastructure that we need by 2050 is yet to be built. That's in 25 years. That equates to about 30 billion tons of concrete production every year. To put that in perspective, it's about the size of the city of Manhattan every year.
6 minutes, not longer.
Concrete is one of the most abundant, most popular building materials in the world.
Yeah.
And it's made by mixing cement, sand, water, and some stones.
Yeah.
Cement is really key here. Cement is the most important material that goes into the production of concrete. Cement represents about 10 to 20% of the weight of concrete, but it is 85% of the CO2 emissions of concrete. So at Pebble, what do? We ask, what if the most ambitious construction projects could become the world's biggest carbon sinks? So we take a process that exists in nature. It's a process called mineralization. It's a geological process that happens over millennia. And the process involves CO2 getting converted into a mineral stone and being stored. So we take this process and we basically accelerate it. The picture that you see on the screen, hopefully you see it on the screen, it's a picture of our... Oh, great, thank you. Next slide. Or there's a delay. Maybe someone can tell me what picture you see on the screen? Factory. Very good. You see a factory. So this demo, this factory is actually our factory in Rotterdam. We started it earlier this year, and we are in the process of validating the material that's coming out of this factory. So the result of this is a carbon storing mineral. This is a powder that we get out of our factory. And the way that we use this is to replace a portion of cement in the production of concrete. So let's see what this means in the context of a building. So imagine we are using Pebble in this building. There should be a double climate impact. I'm wondering what you see on the screen now because I'm not sure. Okay, great. And my clicker doesn't seem to be doing anything. Okay. So the pebble material, when it is used to replace cement in the construction of concrete in a building, it locks away about 300 kilograms of CO2 per ton. And also, by replacing cement, we avoid the emissions associated with the use of that cement in concrete. I have to ask, I cannot see. Do you see a screen with Rotterdam on it? Perfect. Okay. No. Okay. Construction site, yes. So this is what we did. So earlier this year in April, we actually, together with our partners, built some facade panels for a renovation project in Rotterdam. This project will be, I think, open to the public in April, so all of you who are here can go visit. It's always fun to see. In this project, we replaced about 27% of cement in weight, and the result was 18% avoided CO2 emissions by the replacement of cement, and 275 kilograms of CO2 permanently stored in the walls. So this is one project in Rotterdam, but we are piloting our material across various concrete applications in the industry. Okay. About this time last year, we were at a different stage together with Dirk from the PropTech Association at Expo Real, where we had won the PropTech Impact Awards. And since then, we have raised about 5 million euros in grants from the Dutch government and from the EU. We have completed 5 projects this year, with 3 more due to be completed the rest of the year. We are talking to about 40 different companies who are trialing our material in the production of concrete. We've doubled in employee size, and we are also in the process now of location scouting for our next first-of-a-kind plant. So my message to you is if you want to get involved, we are always eager to have partners with us, and feel free to contact us to find out how you can help us on our journey.
Keep it with you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, what do you think about that? Incredible, eh? Material that I have. So, I would like to welcome on stage Jan Michael of the Warming Surfaces. Welcome.
Hi, can you hear me? All right, Dirk's laughing because this is not going to be an easy pitch in this environment. So hi, I'm Yanni. I come from the north, and I'm here to tell you winter is coming. Now looking at the faces, there are some people struggling out there. I'm a little bit struggling here. But yes, indeed, winter is coming. And I'm here to talk about how we can deliver warmth into living environments more sustainably. So you can have a nice, cozy, not this hot living conditions throughout the year. Why is this important, and why is there a huge impact around warming? A shocking statistic, 21% more people die in the winter months compared to the summer months in Europe. 35 to 72 million EU citizens cannot afford to warm their homes sufficiently. And the problem gets bigger the more south you go. The reason for that is that most of the buildings in places like Portugal were not built for winter living, but more for the summer. I, a Finn, moved to Portugal, lived there 6 years, and never in my life had I experienced such feeling of cold. I invited my friends from Finland in the winter months to come what real cold feels like. So maybe you don't suffer from energy poverty. You have a luxury of being here. So okay, it's not your distress, not your concern. However, some of us may recall the energy crisis a couple of years back and what happened to the cost of heating. Massive bills, away from all this other beautiful spending that we like to do. But look at this statistic. 64% of all energy consumed by European households goes to heating of living spaces. And can you see that little line there? 0.6% go to cooling. Okay, so that's the one, thanks. All right, so there is solutions to fix this problem. Our company, the Warming Surfaces company, says what we're doing. We are integrating warming into furniture, into interior surfaces. What I'm holding here in my hand is a radiator with less than 2 grams of metal, able to produce the same amount of warmth as a conventional radiator, with the exception that we can cover all the wall surfaces with this material, all the floors, and even furniture. And by the way, your mother, your grandmother will want more heating in the room than maybe a young man, athletic man with more muscle. As we age, we lose muscle mass and we need more warmth. So how can you live in the same space when she wants 28C and you want 19C? Well, we can pixelate the heating and control the intensity of heat in different parts of the room or across the sofa. All right, so 2-year-old startup, business is starting to take off. Not the home environment, but outdoor terraces. Why? There are all-encompassing bans on terrace heating in France, a nation where 40% of all food servings are to outdoor conditions. Here in Brussels, there's a ban on gas heaters, and it's self-evident why. In France, the emissions from those terrace heaters was equivalent to 300,000 cars in traffic. So what we've done is we've brought warmth into terrace tables. In Finland, winter is half the year. Love being outside. So we don't need to start a fireplace all the time out in the nature, which is actually very nice and romantic. I do agree, but when we go out into the terrace, you can have very energy efficient, localized heating that goes on when you sit down, goes off when you walk away. We're using fractions of the materials in conventional heaters and massive energy savings, using less than 5% of the energy of conventional heaters. And what's best, sustainability doesn't mean you have to start suffering. In fact, sustainability can mean better comfort. In our case, studies show almost twice more comfortable than conventional terrace heaters. And it's great for business. I hope there are some beverage companies still in the crowd. In one pilot, the restaurant quadrupled sales of drinks thanks to these tables, or we like to think. And literally no emissions in use. The technology is scalable, mass producible, and products are coming out. After the furniture, we go into walls. That's our beautiful team. I am here because we're raising a round of financing and looking for go-to-market partners. So please come and talk with me if you're interested. Thank you, Dirk.
Yeah, very great. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have Belgian companies today. And so I'm inviting Nora van Kouwenberg of Bittergreen. Please, Nora.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Nora. I'm the founder and CEO of Bittergreen, and we are on a mission to bring nature-based resilience to cities at scale. So this is a bit of a personal mission also. Like, do you ever have this feeling when you're sitting at the ocean, you're standing in front of the waves, you hear them crashing by one after the next? You smell the fresh air, the salt on your skin, and you think, whew, life is good. Next thing you know, you're in your car, you're in a city, and it is hot. We all know it's hot here too. But in that car, it is hot. You open the window, and the exhaust comes in, and it is smelling bad. And you think, what happened? You know, a moment ago, I was in paradise, and now I'm in this situation. How did we build our cities like this? Why did we do that? And it's an issue for me, might be an issue that resonates with you, but it's also a huge economic issue. The fact that we haven't built our cities to be prepared for the changing climate. It's an issue for insurance. The damages of extreme events are going up. They're running into the millions, billions. It's an issue for health. We have heard about people dying of cold, but heat deaths are going up. And so the question is, what are we going to do if we know that extreme events are increasing? What can we do? Yeah? We might not be able to change the climate, but for sure we can do things. We can change the land use, we can change the way we build, we can change the way we organize our urban space. And the question is, okay, but where exactly, how much, and who is going to pay for it? And those are questions that we want to answer with Bittergreen. And we're on the verge of risk intelligence and climate adaptation. So what we do is we've brought a platform to the market that shows you exactly where are the biggest risks for flood, heat, noise pollution, air quality, biodiversity loss. And you can see that at the city scale, as in the image. You can see where are the biggest issues, where are the risks, the hotspots. But you can also see that on your portfolio. Imagine you have a portfolio of 1,000 assets. You know the top 10% that are at the highest risk. And so we help you select in different stages what is the risk and then how can you improve that. And we are the people that go for nature-based resilience. So it's about planting trees, putting green roofs, putting green on a facade. It does make a difference. So we have solutions for investors that have a fiduciary duty to offer portfolios that have climate resilience. We have solutions for asset managers, be it small portfolios, large portfolios, logistics, warehouses, residential areas. We have solutions for consultants who sell it through, but also for cities, for district managers, people that are concerned about vulnerable people and their exposure to heat. How can you help them? So the way our product works is simple. In different steps, we use satellite images, we use detailed information that we get from our customers, and we make a screening of the risk. Then in the second step, we're going to identify, okay, where are the hot spots, where are the hope spots? Where can we do something? Where can we improve the situation? And then we compare, and we will select with you what is the best investment strategy that you can put forward to the board that is also aligned with all the regulatory issues that you might have. In this market, we are unique as a spin-off of the Brussels University because we have our own proprietary software, and we work at high resolution using physically based models. We're not saying that we're doing everything analyzing big data, because these are complicated things. There's complex underground, overground surfaces. We do physically based modeling at high speed, assisted by machine learning and AI. So with that, we offer a SaaS, so we can get a license on our product. And we are partnering with important partners on climate predictions, on health predictions. We have collaborations with the European Space Agency. We're now in a space for cities call. This is our team, combination of bright minds on business development, some modelers, computer scientists, AI specialists, and these are some extra slides. So with that, this is my pitch. If you want to come talk to me, please reach out and let's make it green together. Thank you.
Thank you, Nora. Great, great, great. And since we're in Belgium, we decided to continue with another Belgian company. Come on, Helena and Dieter of Constructed. Floor is yours.
Good afternoon. This is Helena. I am Dieter, and we are from Constructed. We are aiming to disrupt the construction industry. So, what are we all about? As a company, we want to offer a solution using 3D printing of special materials to make a new form of building where you can have a house with integrated utilities and finishes into one step. Why is this a big opportunity? Because the construction industry is an industry which is very slow, very wasteful and costly, all leading to a bad result. Our solution, we are using a biodegradable printing material which will allow you to, in a fast way, construct a house. The strengths of our company is that we have a patent pending, we have a working prototype of our technology, we also have a first client and a 5-founder dedicated team. This market is huge, as Dirk already mentioned before, and we aim to enter this market by making special casts for companies that make precast concrete elements. And for that, we are actually raising funds right now.
So let's dive a bit deeper into what is the problem. As you already heard, the construction industry is really complex. You've all noticed that you build something, there's 2 centimeters of difference, you have to rebuild the wall. There's a lot of waste. We have a lot of resource limitations. So we're talking about labor shortages, material shortages, price hikes that have gone up to 30% in the last couple of years. And we also know that there is a need for sustainability. We have more rules coming up, ESG, but also CPQ. There are a lot of rules and regulations that say that we need to build greener. So what do we bring? We bring the solution. We start actually from a 3D model and we want to change the whole value chain. So we want to go from drawing until the end. So what the problem is now, the construction industry is very fragmented. Everyone wants to work on their specific goals. So what do? We start from the drawing. We create an automated 3D model that will be printable, that is automatically done. And then we print the cast. So a cast that will serve as everything. So you will print the cast, you will fill the structure. So how should it see that? We print a wall, and that wall will serve as an exterior wall. It will have the insulation in it, and it will have cavities for utilities and finishes. Our material, we adapted it so that we have different feelings and mix. So it will feel like gypsum, it will feel like wood, and we're trying a couple of other materials right now. So how have we gotten there? So we've, as Dieter said, we have a patent. We have done our successful material test, and we have our first paying clients. Now, what are we looking for? We have a couple of main goals, but we will start with printing of casts. So what we will do, we'll print a cast of prefab elements like stairs and balconies. So everything that is a one-off or something that is very complex to build, that takes days or months to build with timber, concrete, etc., we will create the cast for. And at the end of 2029, we want to be able to print our first 3D house. Voila. And yeah, maybe just we want to do it in 3 phases.
So what's the business model behind our company? We want to earn money in 3 ways. As we said before, we want to start with producing these casts for these different companies that are making stairs, balconies, and so on for their clients, because for us it's an easy entry into the market. Then we have our software, which transforms that architectural drawing into a ready-to-print model. And last, we want to sell these innovative 3D printing materials together with our printer. So these materials have replicating wood, stone, plaster, things you commonly know in a building, but they are suitable to be printed, and that will allow us to print these interior finishes and to make openings for cables, sockets, things like that. How do we want to price this? We want to be competitively priced compared to traditional building methods, but we will allow for much shorter building times using only sustainable materials and flexible design, and also first time right, so without having to correct mistakes from other contractors. We have already established some partners and are building our ecosystem around this technology. So for research, we are working with KU Leuven and MBuild, which is the Belgian Construction Federation. Of course, we have our own knowledge also. Then we have some suppliers. So our machine, we will get it from suppliers, the 3D printer and the nozzle. And we also have a supplier that will make this bio-based material, which is called PLA. And then we have some clients. So we have those concrete casting companies. We have some architects who are interested to work with our technology to create new creative ideas. And we can also utilize our technology in other sectors. So this is our team. I hope you're excited as us. And if you're interested to work with us in any way, as an investor, pilot partner, supplier, or whatever, please reach out to us. Thanks a lot.
Voila, a young, very promising Belgian company. Next one is very well launched and doing already a nice turnover. So we have now Ecotect, and Abhishek, please take the stage. And welcome.
Hi, I'm Abhishek Kumar. I'm founder and CEO of Ecotect. So at Ecotect, what we do is we use robots and bio-based material hempcrete to create the wall panels. And so we know the problem that 50% of the all extracted materials from the mining goes into construction. So that's like almost half, right? And the key ingredient of this is the concrete and cement. Cement alone is responsible for 8% of the global CO2 emission. So any change in this, a reduction, will have a huge impact globally. So what we do here is we have designs here, and then these designs, they go to our 3D printer, and these printers, we deliver the panels, and these panels are then sent to the construction site for on-site assembly. And the result here is that we have a hempcrete wall, which are like, these walls are material efficient, and technically say they are topologically optimized, which means that from inspired by the nature and mechanics, applied mechanics and algorithms, we generate these designs which are very efficient. Compared to concrete and wood, these are the two most used material. We are not just reducing the CO2 emission, but we are carbon negative. So yeah, it has many advantages. For example, like it's excellent fire resistance. We reduce material usage up to 60%, and this is why it's much more affordable. It's also excellent mold resistance, insulation resistance, and also when we compare with the wood, which takes like 25 to 40 years to grow, the hemp takes only 4 to 6 months. right? So we have a patented process. We got patent in USA and in Finland. So what happens here is that we have these designs. We use the computers to generate the optimized design. These designs, they go to our printer, and we use the clay as a printing material. The reason why? Because it's easy to clean. It's available in abundance. It's very much familiar. So once we have these patterns printed on the clay, we add the hempcrete and we remove the clay, and the clay is reused again for the next batch of printing. And in these gaps, we call it a mold. We add the steel and concrete. So, and the last finishing is done. So this is how we manufacture the panels. We did the pilots in Denmark and also in Spain. And we showcased our technology in last 6 months, and we won 5 awards. We got overwhelming response, and because of this, we have so much interest across the Europe. Large companies are reaching out to us for the project. So there are several projects in pipeline. When it comes to business model, we contact the architects, and the decision makers are the real estate developer. They select our materials and the process. Then with the general contractor, we deliver the house or the building as it required. The market size is huge. Alone, the concrete precast manufacturing is 150 billion euro globally. We are focusing in Denmark because we are based there, which is 4 billion target market size, and the segment is 30%. And these is growing 10% annually. And the reason why is that the end customers, they demand for these green products. Another one is the EU policies, and also the architects and developers are looking for these projects. So when it comes to competition, we are carbon negative. I mean, this is our biggest strength, and also it's very easy to work with our system. Our manufacturing process seamlessly integrate with the current precast manufacturing processes. So this is the team, me and Mikkel Højlund. We both are architects, and we have done several projects together. We are working together since 2009. We also founded a company in India, architecture firm, and completed almost 25 projects. So in the end, I would like to say that yes, the European Bauhaus initiative, which is like making it beautiful, sustainable, and inclusive. And I really like these 3 words, and it actually makes sense. And our project, our startup is very much aligned with these values. So just in Aarhus region, annually, we save emission, which is equivalent to planting 150,000 trees. So that's a huge impact. We also satisfy several United Nations goals, and putting another point, which is the social impact, right? We generate the revenue stream for the farmers. And these farmers are mainly in rural areas, and also an inclusive growth with the community. So this is about Ecotech. Thank you.
Abhishek. And now we're going to welcome Timberlight Joshua. Please, welcome.
So my professional story began with a phone call. A phone call that told me a lesson, that I need to take over responsibility. Responsibility for the future that we build, for our tomorrow. So I'm Josh, I'm the CEO and founder of Timberlight. And as long as I can remember, my father ran a timber construction company. And I still remember when I got that phone call, it was in February, a cold, gray day. My mom called me and she told me that my dad passed away. So I took over that timber construction company together with my mom, and we built a new product, a modular timber construction way to build houses. So we set up a new production facility, and then we made our first projects. But the success that we were thriving for was slowly arriving. Actually, it almost never arrived. Because we planned with external planners, and these external planners introduced problems into our building system. And I can still remember when we discovered these errors, I was on the construction site, everything was dusty, I see the chaos, and I had this realization, if we want to build successful projects, we need to integrate the whole process as well, the planning, so we don't have these errors in our process. So we did this, and we integrated the whole process into our building system. And then finally, after doing so, we were able to build successful houses. So we built more than 100 units, residential units for our clients, and the business was successfully. So we built more sustainable, cheaper, and faster. And sustainable because of the timber. Timber is storing CO2 instead of polluting the air like other building materials, like concrete, for example. But continuing the work that I did at home, I would probably never had enough impact, because the problem that we face is not about building just a few cheaper, more sustainable houses. The problem that we have is really big. We are lacking over 900,000 units alone in Germany. And this number is growing every single day. And this was the moment when I thought I need to found a new company. And this is Timberleicht. At Timberleicht, we stick with that idea that we need to integrate that whole process. But if we look around in Germany, or not only in Germany, probably everywhere in Europe, we see a lot of great construction companies. But if you hand over them the wrong puzzle pieces, then they will not fit together, literally on site. So we focus on the planning and partnering with construction companies all over Germany. And to make this a little bit more practical, we, as I said, integrate the whole value chain, and we break it down into 3 important steps. So first, we sell the building to the project owner. That's pretty important, because then you own the process. You can decide what to do next. And secondly, we plan the building. And last but not least, we award it to our project partners that already know the system that we built. So to make it a little bit more tangible, what do you think? How many thousand buses Flixbus owns? I can tell you it's not a single one. At least it was for a very, very long time. So we are the Timberleicht for construction. We don't own the cranes, we don't own the trucks, we don't own the production facility, but we own the process, we own the brand, and we know how to sell the buildings. So now going back to the problem, still 900,000 units that we need to build. But probably just owning the process is still not enough. So as already said, we are looking on the planning. And the next step is that we need to automate the planning, that we can build thousands or even more of units in Germany. And we do so by our own software that is using algorithms and ever better AI. What I'm talking about is not just a vision, it's already happening today. So we built over 1,000 units already, and we have built a sales pipeline with over 200 million project value. So let's leave the world where we build risky and inefficient behind us. Let's create a future together where we build a more sustainable, a cheaper, and a faster way to create the homes that we need. We are Timberleicht, and we build on more than trust.
Yeah. Hallo. Yes, good. All right. We hebben als laatste, today we have as last presenter here, also a Belgian company. And they're very successful because they're already going to the other side of the ocean, right?
We are, yes.
You are, huh? Okay. You know.
Yes, thank you, Dirk. So my name is Ruben from Juno. Today I'm going to talk about walls. Interior walls might sound boring to a lot of you guys, but for us it's actually a passion, and I'm going to tell you why. So hopefully you can see this slide now, which shows the immense problem that we are facing in terms of interior walls, which is the waste. In terms of waste, we're talking about 300 billion in euros that is wasted or thrown away in how office walls currently are being built, which is gypsum or other solution. Effectively, there's no other thing that we can do than throw them away if we don't need them anymore. On top of that, facing another problem, if you look at this slide, this is showing the labor productivity per industry. So essentially what I'm showing here is that manufacturing compared to 20, 25 years ago, the output per person working in this industry has doubled, mainly driven by innovation, technology, robotics, other things. If you look at the total economy, it has also increased quite steadily over the last 25 years. This is the sector that we are in, construction. Means, this slide says to me, we are still building exactly the same as we were building 20, 25 years ago, which is essentially leading to the problem of still looking for cheaper materials, still looking for cheaper labor, trying to find the cheapest solution possible, and then throw it away. So essentially, we are one of the largest industries in the world, construction, flat productivity, decreasing labor force. Now what? That is where we step in, and we need to start somewhere. So we start with office walls. We want to build offices like Lego. What does that mean? Is we are creating solutions, which is solid walls, glass walls, and meeting pods, and all of them are flexible, modular, can be reused. Showing it in this slide shows that the way that our product is developed, we can build up to 7 times faster than traditional walls. On top of that, as shown here, we can demount them and remount them again up to 50 times. So essentially, what does it mean for us to build office wall? For us, it's all about circular value. It's making sure that the product, when we build it, when we sell it, at the end of its life cycle, it still has value. So we also buy back raw materials because we can use them in different projects again. Going to show you some pictures. Why? Because obviously, like a lot of us, when selling projects, we need to sell to architects, we need to sell to developers. And they always ask us the question, but is it as nice as traditional walls? Yes, it is. We do not compromise on look and feel, on quality. We also don't compromise on the acoustic performance, for example. This is our double glass wall. It's up to 60 decibel. It's among the best performing acoustic glass wall in the world, and it's reusable. Coming into meeting pods. So what happens if you add our glass system or solid walls together, put a floor under it, put the ceiling on top of it, you have a meeting pod. This is actually what we sell a lot in the US. This is a use case I want to talk about because it's not too far from here. It's actually Lantis project. For those from Belgium, Lantis is the company building the Oosterweelverbinding. So essentially, they are charged with the task of building a very large infrastructure project. It will take them, hopefully, 7 years. So they need an office for 7 years. They could have gone to traditional developers and saying, okay, I want an office for 7 years. Please build me an office, build some walls in it. But actually, they said, we already know in 7 years that we will move. So what will we do then with the walls? We can only throw them away. So they came to us and they said, like, okay, can you guys decorate me an office? And in 7 years, I don't need it anymore. So we said, okay, we're going to build you this beautiful office. And in 7 years from now, we're going to buy back all our own materials. Like Dirk was saying as well, active in the USA. We have a New York office. We sell a lot of meeting pods over there, even though it has been a bit challenging the last couple of months. I think we all know why. But still, we are managing to sell all of our products there. Why? Because not only focusing on circularity. For us, circularity, sustainability, there needs to be a business model behind. What is our business model? It's the higher productivity. Because if you look at the total cost of ownership of our product, we're actually cheaper than traditional products. Why? Because it can be reused, can be demounted, can be remounted again. So if you look at the total cost of ownership, meaning looking at the price of the materials, looking at the labor cost, looking at the cost to demount, looking at the cost to replace, total cost of ownership is actually way cheaper for our system compared to even regular drywall. And that is where the next, let's say, business model comes in, is a buyback warranty. It's unlocking circular value, unlocks a lot of different business models. We can buy back our own products and reuse them again. For us, very profitable. We can offer them in leasing. We have customers buying our meeting pods or walls through KBC or other banks because it's a physical product that can be reused. It's like your car, you can lease it. So that's when I was talking about circular value unlocks a lot of different business models in the long run, which will all yield a lot of value. Yep, and then one thing that I want to mention as last as well is that, even because our product is actually comprised out of two materials, wood and steel. Steel is not the most sustainable material, but if you do something clever with it from a product design perspective and use the right type of steel, then actually over the lifespan of the product, we have way less CO2 emissions than traditional products. So finishing off with some of our clients, as you can see, and Dirk was mentioning, we are already in business for quite some years, have done quite some projects, quite some big names in there. Anybody interested in office walls, meeting pods, even Second Life products, feel free to come to either myself or Stan and have a chat.
Of executive experience.
Good. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, it concludes our session here. I want to thank you for being here with us. It was, I know, a bit technical, but at the same time, it's important that we care about these things, that we know about these things. So thank you and have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you.